I'd like to do is remind you how important it is when you play to utilize dynamics. Okay, now you might be using dynamics in the way that you're approaching playing. You might be using dynamics in the way that you're setting up your amplifier or your guitar or your volume or whatever it might be. And we're going to talk about all of those things today. Just so sometimes you can kind of leave the normalcy of practice of speed and technique and finger exercises and all those kind of things and understand the real power that you have within the context of the dynamics that you can add, whether you're playing chords or whether you're soloing. So in this case, what I'm doing is I'm just playing in C sharp minor here, which is the same as E major. What I want you to notice is that I've got a little bit of reverb on, and I've got a little bit of delay. Now I really like that because what it does is it enables me to play less and still have an element of music happening. I usually keep my volumes low enough to where when I'm playing, it doesn't get washed out by the reverb or the delay. So if I'm playing something, you can hear it back there, but it's not getting in the way. Okay, and that's really important for me. So that's how I set my reverb and my delay if I'm using those, is I just make sure they're in the back a ways. So as I'm playing, again, it's not near as loud as my regular signal. Now, for me right now, what I would do, as I did with just this little improvised thing here that I did, I was using my looper pedal, and I just made this little chord progression that goes like this. And all I'm doing right there is I'm playing 11, 13, 0, 0. And then I'm playing 9, 11, 0, 0. And then 7, 9, 0, 0. That's all I'm doing. Now, it might look like my middle finger's doing something here, but it's not. It's just deadening the strings up above. So that's my chord progression, which is really C sharp minor to B to A. Okay? And I don't have to play the full chords like that. I might play something where I go C sharp minor to B, but leave the bottom two strings open, and then A sus2, something like that. But again, it doesn't make any difference. But when I go to start soloing over the top, what I want you to notice here is that what I'll start off doing is I'll usually wind up using kind of the center position. Depending on how bright I want things to be, I'll sometimes stay over in this side, especially when I want things to be really melodic. I'll tend to stay away from my bridge position pickup just because it gets kind of bright and nasally, which is great for other things. But for now, what I want to do is I would start somewhere with, maybe I'll go into the fourth position with my toggle switch. Okay, so it's using these two pickups right here. And then I would roll down my volume. Now, I'm not showing you licks or anything because I'm not really playing any licks. I'm not really thinking about that. What I'm concerned with right now, and this is really my point, is that if you're trying to work up a lick, you're not thinking about dynamics. You're not thinking about musicality. You're thinking about executing the lick, and that's very important, okay? But when you're done practicing that lick, whatever that might be, then you want to come back to this lesson and start talking about the dynamics that might surround that lick. So for instance, there's a couple of different options that I've got here. One is I could turn my volume all the way up. I'm going to stay on that fourth position pickup selector for now. You don't have to be in the same spot, but that's just what sounds good to me right now. So if I brought the volume all the way up, that's the sound I'm getting from that pickup, which I like a lot, okay? But if I'm going to have the volume up, I might back off my picking strength. See, now I've got this dynamic happening with my pick. So the volume's all the way up. You see, so there's a lot of space there for musicality that sometimes people miss. Now, my amp right now is not set so it's so distorted that no matter how I try and set my volume, I just have a massive amount of distortion. That's not what I'm looking for. I want to back this off a little bit. So I'm using this amp, but I'm on a crunch channel. So this is... And of course, if I was doing some sort of rhythm thing, I'd probably back off my delay or my reverb a little bit, but I'm using it for soloing right now. So there isn't a massive amount of distortion, okay? So you see, I can have some more fun with the dynamic element as I'm playing over this. If I need to be louder, I'll just play louder. See what I mean? Now, maybe I want to be a little bit, I want more aggression, okay? I'm getting to a spot where I want even more. Now, I didn't have to start in this fourth position, but you can see what that sounds like. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that toggle switch, and I'm going to bring it all the way up. Now I'm on this pickup. So I have even more aggression now that I can pump into. But I can still back off. And still get that aggression when I want it, okay? So you'll notice I'm not changing presets or anything like that. I'm trying to control it all from the guitar itself. So I try and, figure out in my situation, whatever it is I'm trying to do. Again, I'm not playing over a Slayer song right now. That would be an entirely different approach. But what I'm trying to do right now, this gives me the maximum amount of distortion that I need for what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I've got this set, so that's it. Like, this is as much distortion as this is going to give out in my situation right now. And then I can back off. Now, if I don't think I've got enough, I could go up a channel. So I'm going to go to a heavier channel. And now you're going to notice I have a lot more distortion that I could work with. Now, could I back off from there? Sure. Now I've got a little bit of noise happening here, which there's nothing I can do about that. So you see, what I do is I drop back into this one. Because I just feel like I've got more power over the situation that I'm trying to be in right now. So either I'm backing off the pickup selector, choosing something that might be single coil. I'm backing off the volume on my guitar. See, now the volume is backed off. I'm on the fifth position. I'm on this pickup right here. But my volume is backed off about halfway. So even if I get aggressive, I'm not going to get as much out of it. Now you're going to hear it, you see? Now the secret weapon that I have that I use all the time is that I don't actually have tone controls in my guitars. Okay, these are taken out, and there's what's called a presence control by EMG put in there. And what that does is it gives me even more of a boost or a bounce when I need it. I don't know how much that translates on your end, but it makes a big difference for me when I'm playing. So if I need a little more gain yet, for something faster that I wanted to do, or I would roll this up and I would add that on. Now, chances are you probably don't have that. So what's another option? Another option is a pedal. I could enable a pedal. And now I get even more aggressive, you see? So my point is that I can utilize all of the elements that I've got around me. I don't have to utilize all of them. You might not be a toggle switch person. Some people just like to leave their toggle switch in one place. Or, you know, you don't really roll the volume very much, but you can play more dynamic with the pick. You don't have to do them all. It's just finding what's going to work best for you, I should say, when you're trying to play. So if I turn this back on, first thing I want to do is just back everything off. I just want to find my space here. I don't want to come out screaming. Then maybe I'll bump it up a little. Let's say I needed a little more, so I'd turn on the boost maybe. You'll notice I also turned on, or I switched down to my first position, because now it's kind of nasally again, and it's really going to cut through if I'm at that point in my solo. Back off again. So what I have to be careful about, and it depends, like if I had a band and the drummer comes in and all this stuff, then my pedals become more important to me for a dynamic change. Okay, whether it's a, you know, channel change or something like that. But if I'm staying this way the whole time, I try not to get locked into a pedal per se, because then once I enable the pedal, I've raised it to this higher level, and the only way to really go back is to disable that pedal again and come back. Sometimes that's too much of a drop, you see? So I have to be careful with that. And again, I'm just explaining to you some things that I do, but I want you to really be aware of that when you're trying to practice, whether you're noodling or, you know, you're trying out a particular scale or a particular kind of chord progression that you're trying to play over or whatever it would be. Don't just always think about licks and scales. Also think about your dynamic approach by utilizing either the way you're playing or the products that you have around you.